Hi everyone, Day here bringing you another episode in my The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Let's Play. So we are still gnawing and chewing and clawing and biting and punching our way through this amazingly long case where we're aboard a ship. Asogi, our best friend and pretty much kind of maybe a mentor of some sort, was murdered. And now we're trying to figure out how, at least at the current present, we're just trying to figure out how he died. And it's looking as if the person that was staying next door to him, I forgot her name currently, which is probably super bad. Let's just go to people real quick. Yeah, Pavlova. So yeah, Pavlova, she seems like she may know some things. We also had a dance of deduction from Sholmes. So yeah, we're just gonna hop back into it because I am literally fumbling. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Ah, yes, and so Ryunosuke himself is getting ready to take part in that dance. And he always acts as if he's disinterested. But I have a good feeling that this guy, he loves the dance of deduction. He loves it so much. He's going to be smiling. He's going to be swirling around with Sholmes. We know he's going to be doing the jig just as well. So he's not fooling anyone. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrist again. What? They're free! Come on, you can't dance with dang handcuffs on. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where do they go? Fear not, I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd just leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. I like calling the dance of deduction. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. So we're hopping back into intruder's identity first. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet, you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly. Is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Okay, we can do that. Well then, we already found something very interesting here. Not her heart, but she does have a claw scratch on her hand. I'm trying to see if I can look at the other side of her arm. We could get a very good look at like a good glance around the environment here. This is very well done. You even have the shipmate back there. I forgot his name too. He's back there with the snake around his face, and that's awesome. Hey, there's a picture frame there. Hey, look at that. Claw marks on her arm, picture frame on the table, her holding what looks to be a kitten of some sort. I can already see where this is going. We'll look at this first. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound. They probably didn't expect anyone to actually truly try to glance around the whole entire landscape. However, it's kind of nice that they left that as something available to like glance at. So she obviously has a pet kitten. She has a whole photo of said kitten, but we have to work our way towards that information. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound. It looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. And fairly recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Okay.
Yes!
Okay. I wasn't familiar with how to do this anymore. I'm glad I did it correctly. Look, he's getting into it. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night. Oh, Ryunosuke. Sometime last night. It's not really much of a difference in voice or tone, but it's enough that I want to like try to pick up on what I'm doing here. Ah! So, let me get this straight. She has a pet kitten. The kitten went through the ventilator? I don't know. When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. It is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that pretentious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is that writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? Or ears? So, no, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer. Alright. We can't see her, but I guess it's obvious at this point. It's not Stroganov. It's not Stroganov here. I guess it may be the photo frame, but we'll examine it first. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally blue. Wow, blue? She's I can't say it out. Gosh, she is exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? There we go. Thank you. Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Who calls a cat, a kitten, or any of said feline a creature? Come on, you know that's a little kitty. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Okay, we can do that. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova is coloring here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san, for the blackest outfit? A black kitten. And from the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. Oh. Wrong thing. At this point, I had to press the present button. I do deeply apologize, but we'll fill in the blanks with the correct answers each time. Okay, I'm getting into this myself. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no! Scene grab! The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Ah, look at his smirk! Okay, stop gushing. Ah! Daka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Daka would appear to be a Russian blue. Interesting that it is a Russian blue though. And yet, that fact leaves us in a bit of a quandary. The victim's written observations of the night in question tell of a speckled bond, whereas regrettably, we have a cat instead. The specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? I can't help it. I love this so freaking much. It's bonkers. No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh yeah, I forgot. She just literally pulled it out of her pocket. That bothered me last time and it bothers me now. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary, even now hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing, to conceal can only be the snake's slow skin. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. Why didn't she leave it in her pocket? If she... Thank you, Ryunosuke. Thank you for making this not so strangely just something that we overlooked. I appreciate you so much for this statement. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would have even known, basically. I've read that kind of book. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. So she felt cornered, and she kind of probably unconsciously pulled it out, I see. I thought deduction was his specialty, or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? We shall find out, because that's a good question. If I can get the dang camera angle. Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? A balloon? I have no idea. It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. Or like maybe like catnip or something. I don't have a cat, so yeah. I was never gonna really like catch that immediately. But it's probably something to like call her cat. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How is that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. Haha, well, that sounds pretty adorable. Cat's toy. So now we have that, we should be able to present it. Okay, I was worried I pressed the wrong thing. Information correct. Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Yes. Precisely. And the true nature of the now infamous speckled bond. Ah! And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. Clean up scene and introduce a new one. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it and wrote it down. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. Soka, I see. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of a cat by the name of Daka. A truly troublesome feline, young Daka is proven to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. The photograph of Miss Pavlova and Darga has been entered into the court record. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. I have no idea what happened to her accent or her voice or anything, okay? I'm sorry, I'm just rolling with it at this point. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Very, very off-putting voice, but whatever. Daka, she is so naughty. A beloved kitten. Don't tell... This is about to get real sad real quick, isn't it? It's about to be very sad real quick. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. Gee, Sholmes. I mean, nothing's happened yet. I'm kind of jumping ahead with my thought processes here, so he's not in the wrong. I'm just like, this is not going to end well. The grim demise of the victim. Asogi, how did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Okay, we have this to deal with. What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. That's right. But Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Oh, and apparently I forgot that because I'm pretty sure in the last episode I mentioned that briefly. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. Okay, I'm gonna have to go over some of this stuff. Let's start from the back. A record kept by the crew assigned to the first class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until this early morning. A piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. A postmortem report. A report from the SS Bureau's medical officer giving the cause of death as a cervical spine injury. There were no traces of external injury or poison. He tripped. Is that what it is?
Yes!
I forgot that he just tripped. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes! I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath will be strong enough to survive that. I like how he just closed the curtains on her and turned the light on this guy, Stroganov. Seaman Stroganov isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was indeed broken. Now, if we take that as fact, glasses, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. The bill. I just read information about that. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body would prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. This bothers me, man. I'm not ready. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone. Stroganov. He just said that Stroganov would be like the only one, right? Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found though. Or is it just the floor and they just assume someone did it? Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. Yeah, I don't believe it would be the kitten. I suppose. It's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. Okay, that's probably not it now. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh, yes. A bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? The bill and the scuff mark. So, we'll head here.
Yes!
Just press the present button because I'm fairly confident in my response. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. Now see, before I looked for the information about Kazuma's autopsy report, I would have had to like look a little bit, but I ran into the information, so cool. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results, the undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Never knew that. Thank you, Sholmes. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's lace leather shoes. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Look at you. You're getting very lawyerly, aren't you, Mr. Asogi's? Interesting there. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. Oh, I am falling in love with the character development. Please, more of it, Ryunosuke, more of it. For some reason, like, he just really feels like he's genuinely coming into himself. Especially from that first case where he was like a deer in headlights. Beautiful. Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no! And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. No! I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? Oh my goodness, Ryunosuke, I love you. Okay, let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away here at all. What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? The cat bill. That's what it is. Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now, your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? Oh. Don't do this. Please don't do this to me. It makes me sad. I know it's a video game. Get it together, Day, but jeez. It's Kazuma-sama, Asogi. I should have seen his death coming a mile away. It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But... And if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. It must be. So we're going to... Okay, I see this tiara. It's so difficult to figure out how to maneuver this. I guess maybe I could just waste paper basket. We could click on it. Maybe there's something inside of it. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably, there's not much rubbish in there yet. I see it. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Yeah, in the picture. The cat is wearing a humongous bill. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. How nice of you. I guess we presented at that point? Yes! Oh, see. Yeah, she was looking at the waste paper basket. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah! Here, we have a fragment of some intricate glass object. It was seen. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. The way he just slid. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asogi's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no! So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that a part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Kya! You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not?
I don't...
I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Jeez Louise, Sholmes, calm down. Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. With the photo. Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. The teamwork. I love it. Yes. Oh, the teamwork is not solid. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and a little glass bell. That would be... Yes! This. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. Swirl around her! The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? I missed the timing, but your absent feline friend, Darka!
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
Death by tripping over a cat. This is so sad. Deduction complete. Elementary. Oh! This bothers me. This bothers me more than I care to admit. I like Sogi a lot, and I wish he stayed at least for like another few scenes. It would have been more, it would have been a little better if like, and I don't want to say better as in that way, but as far as gameplay, like we had Mia die within the second case for Phoenix. It would have been better for Asogi to like maybe last a little longer, have us feeling like, you know, things will be fine with the two of them, and then, you know, but they have Herlock Sholmes here, so he kind of had to take the fall, literally. Oh my gosh, that was a terrible joke. I'm sorry, Asogi, I love you, I really, really do. Please don't hate me. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night.
It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Dorka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands.
People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments.
She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it?
Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Dorka with me.
Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really.
So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping.
So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again by dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and enter the adjoining cabin.
Dorka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return.
So the faint whistling sound Kazuma wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then...
Oh, The moment of death.
I nearly passed out with shock. I'd heard her cry out, and then, oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
Kazuma was. From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bale and tripping up. The SS Bureau is a large vessel, but even she could pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Isogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? Well, we saw that she retrieved something. It was in the case. After his murder.
In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator.
Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again.
Gracious. That cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Yeah, you're hanging off of coat hooks and stuff. Well, he knows something about himself, at least. Self-awareness is a good thing.
When I woke up this morning, I heard that the young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Yeah, good question. I hate snakes. I won't say I hate them, but keep them away from me. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Peter. I will try. Pirwasko. I destroyed this name. Let me try it with my own voice. Pirwasko. I guess, possibly. What? What? You allow this animal on? Hey, he did have the snake markings on his face, though. That snake belongs to you. He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes? How did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You wanted to be so long without a close friend? Without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little more human? Who understands you better? But my dear, burly fellow. A gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. Appreciate the danger? That's a very nice way of putting it. No venom. He's like, I still wouldn't want to be bit by that snake. Brasco does not have venom. He is homeless, very long, but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. It's venomless. Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. If I see a big smile on a snake's face, I would probably still pass out. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say, they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snake that drink milk are only in stupid stories. I've never once read that in a book before. Brasco eats mouses. Big fat round mouses. Feels so weird to say that. You don't say mouses. So is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? I forgot about the mousetrap. Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? The fact that mice can be on ships as well is alarming. Like, nowhere is safe. Nowhere. Not even out on the ocean. Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. He has blacked out eyes. What the heck? It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord. It is not even venomous. How the deuce does something so inept let a story roll? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Brosco has nothing to do with this incident. It's not even venomous. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. You know, there's nothing more tragic than accidental death. Seriously. Can you really blame anyone in that instance? It's just like a freak accident. I mean, technically she was not supposed to have the cat at all. But still, it just really makes me think about like that invisible boundary wall, that line rather in the sand between rules rather. Like if she never had the cat, he would still most likely be alive because that series of events would never have happened. It's something to ponder about for a brief moment, for sure. It gets me thinking. Like, life is very fragile. Very, very fragile.
Miss Pavlova, I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But...
What are you talking about, Miss Mikatoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. No, she was able to get in there. Maybe? Because, I mean, she had a piece of the bell. If he stepped on the bell, resulted in it breaking, I would assume she was able to enter his cabin. It was just a series of unfortunate events. Wrong series, my sir. Wrong series. That's something entirely different. An accident. Sholmes. I don't know. It's something about saying Sholmes that just makes me smirk.
I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Honestly, yeah, I kind of was like I was feeling it. I thought that perhaps she was telling the truth here, but I guess not. To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. The bill. That's my guess. I'm going to stick with my guns, and that will be that. I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. Sir, I feel like that's blasphemy coming from a great detective. I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah, not again. When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? Okay, yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. Oh yeah, for the last case. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. As much as I hate to leave it on a cliffhanger like this, I shall be ending this episode at this pivotal point. But not before you guys can watch me save this. I would do it here. New one. Saving slot. Okay. And that will be that. We can go back and look at Miss Pavlova's face. The plot thickens. My guess is that someone was able to break in there, but why wouldn't they get the rest of the bill? If that was the case, why did she only have a piece of it? They would have just removed all of it. But yeah, someone actually wrote the word wardrobe on the floor too. That part I nearly completely overlooked. Because we didn't do it. Naruhodo wouldn't have done it. So yeah, we're still overlooking the fact that someone actually was in that, was in there, knew about Ryunosuke, which is creepy to say the least. They knew we were in there and tried to frame him, essentially. So where does this lead? I have no idea. At this point, I would have to say Stroganov may have something to do with this. He was the keeper of the log, and it was like, I want to say, there's a piece of evidence that says the log. Did I just pass it? No, it's the red book. No, it's not the red book. It was a log, wasn't it? And basically, I'm at the postmortem. This right here. I passed it. A record kept by the crew assigned to the first class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. And I want to say he was in charge of this. And if he was in charge of this, where are the missing entries? And what was he doing in the meantime? Possibly framing Naruhodo. So we shall see. We will see where this tiny thread of information leads us. So with that said, I just want to thank you all for watching and sticking along with this, because I feel like this is going to be one of those long hauly games. And hey, I'm here for it. Are you here for it? We'll find out. So until next time, this has been Day, and I hope you all have a great and wonderful day yourselves. Bye.